I would agree with him there, not just in Nagpur. I think throughout the series he looked a little lost. I think he made a bid to kind of shake off his poor form in the first innings at Ahmedabad, where he went aggressively after the bowling but holed out. And thereafter, I think he went into a shell. He made a half century at Kolkata, which was, very gritty. His experience came to the fore, but the fluency of Sachin Tendulkar, as we know him to be, was missing. And this kind of form would trouble even him, because we all know. Yes, I think he should. I think if he wants to continue his career to the series against Australia or even beyond, I think it's very important that he plays all matches, as many matches as possible that come his way, which means he must be a part of the domestic circuit, far more aggressively than he has been in the past. Because one of the things that has emerged is that if the footwork is restricted, if there is limitations of movement, it's not to do because he's lost ability or he's lost technique. It's to do with not enough time spent in the middle. The muscles take a longer time to move. So he needs to be out there playing as much cricket, not just in the nets, but in the middle. That's what I mentioned. I think he needs to, play a lot more competitive cricket, even at the first class level. He needs to play perhaps all ODIs and not be selective about them, and get runs. That's one sure way of coming back into form. If he gets runs even in ODIs, that kind of confidence then carries forward to the test series. And if he's scoring runs in 4-day matches and in domestic tournaments, then he will carry that into the test series, because ultimately sport is so much a matter of confidence. Well, I don't necessarily agree. I do agree that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is skating on very, very thin ice, because at the end of the day, whether the team is good enough, captain is good as the team, and whatever the other arguments, the fact remains that Dhoni has lost 7 matches overseas since the World Cup win last year, and has lost a series to England. Now that's a lot of losses, and ultimately when you put it down on paper, the records don't show him in good light at all. So he is, I think, under a lot of pressure. Had Virat Kohli perhaps been 1 more year or 2 years more experienced, then he would have been, I think, by now the captain of India. He would have probably been announced now for the limited overs series. I think the fact that they've chosen to retain Dhoni for the T20 matches suggests that the selectors are willing to give him a little more rope. But I can tell you that he's on a very tight leash. Well, look, if he wins the series against England, the one-day series, and against Pakistan, then it might get difficult to drop him. I mean, I don't say that tests should be equated with limited overs cricket. You need different skill sets as a captain for both. But the sentiment might veer in favor of Mahendra Singh Dhoni again. And probably, I think, the Australia series could be his, litmus test, whether he is going to have a longer career as a captain, as a test captain or not. Well, I'm not so sure if he's untouchable, because a lot of people have spoken out against him, not just now. Mohinder Ramanathan, for instance, quit the selection committee because he was not getting heard at that point in time. So he was not in favor of Dhoni, and he's come out quite openly. The other former chairman of the selection committee, Krishnamacharya Shrikant, says that even from the tour of Australia, he felt that Dhoni shouldn't be the test captain. Why he chose him again for the series against New Zealand is anybody's guess. But the fact is that there are lots of people now raising their voices quite openly against Dhoni. So it's not that he is untouchable in that sense. And if he has the blessings of the board president will also be under pressure. Well, he's led the under-19 team to victory, so he's got some experience of captaincy. I'm not saying that the under-19 cricket is as difficult as international cricket, but however he has got experience, so that's a plus point. The other is, I think, his approach, his attitude. I think wherever he talks, or the manner in which he conducts himself on the field, he's more new age in that sense. Now we don't know his tactical acumen, so that will have to. But there's I think we can be very harsh about the spinners, or we can understand that they are young. Pragyan Ojha, Ravichandran Ashwin, even Ravindra Jadeja, Piyush Chawla, they are all under 25 years of age. Maybe Ojha is 26. Now, spinners mature with age, with experience, with the kind of setbacks that they've had in this series. And remember, Ojha got 20 wickets in the series, so he's not been a failure. Ashwin got 14. By no stretch of imagination were they failures. What's mattered, where India have been kind of suffered, is because their strike rate has not been as impressive as Swans or Panesars. Now that's a question, that's something that they have to learn. I think that to condemn them is not fair at all. I think India's problem is in the overall composition of the attack. If you look at India's track record over the last 10 years and the reason why they became the #1 test team or even won the World Cup, I think was largely because of the performances of the bowlers. Apart from the freak genius of Sehwag, it was Anil Kumble 600 plus wickets, Harbhajan Singh 400 plus wickets, and Zahir Khan almost 300 wickets. That's 1300 wickets. You take these guys out of the equation and India wins nothing. In fact, I think Zahir Khan has been the most underplayed part of Indian cricket for a long while, because I think we won the World Cup because of him. I think in 2007 he was supremely impressive against England when we beat England in England, and for a 2-3 year period he was pretty much your go-to man. Even in Indian pitches, when you needed a breakthrough, it was Zahir Khan. So unless you get a bowling attack which is balanced, not just what we did in Nagpur, 4 spinners, you need a balanced attack. You're going to struggle, not just in India but also, I mean, certainly overseas but also in India.